Shoot the Schmitt. I'm so excited to have my co-host today. He's very special in my heart. I would like you guys all to meet my very good friend and Brit, Matthew Kimberley.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world.
It's probably different for us, too. But what is it over there?
What time is it for you in the morning? It's now 10 o'clock for you, eh?
Yes, 10:15, yes.
4:15 for me here on the island of Malta.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're getting ready to call it a day, right?
I'm just gearing up.
Right, entrepreneur hours. They're a little bit different. Good. So Matt is from MatthewKimberley.com. It's a little self-explanatory. What do you talk about on Matthew Kimberley?
Talk about how very small business owners can get more clients.
That's right. HowToGetMoreClients.com is yours too, isn't it?
No, moreclientsplease.com.
Moreclientsplease.com. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. I remember that one. And you also wrote a fantastic book that you gave me last year, and I'll get into that in a second. But How to Get a Grip, which I just want to say, if you think you need this book, you do, because it talks about absolutely any problem in your life, and basically it's just a Matthew Kimberley bitch slap, as I said in my review, of how you need to deal with it. I think my favorite one is talking about, and a lot of like what this format is even, is just networking in general. Like the hidden lesson here is you just got to talk to people in order to build that relationship, and just freaking pick up the phone. And that was one of the things that I loved about one chapter of yours was, oh, did you want to catch up with somebody that you met one time? Okay, why don't you call them? Like, so it's kind of like,
the craziest thing, though, isn't it? That's how relationships founder. You go, okay, it's flounder. It's been a week. I'll call her next week, and then it's been 3 weeks, and I'll call her in tomorrow. And then all of a sudden it's been 3 months, and you go, well, it'd be weird if I called out just if I called her up right now. And then it's been a year or 2 years, and everyone just goes, well, she must think there's something wrong with me, or I must have offended her, or whatever. We've drifted apart. But if you put yourself in the other person's shoes, if you're in the situation where somebody calls you out of the blue after 3 or 4 years and goes, hey, you want to grab coffee? You go, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I'd love to. Oh my God, we haven't spoken for so long. Guys, of course, just go, yeah. Sure.
It's, yeah, right. No, but it's so true. It's just like make a point to do that. I mean, like if you need CRM to remember all the people that you're trying to, keep in contact with, and that's fine. Just make a point to give a damn and call them or send them an email. And my favorite thing that you also have is that 5 things to do every day to get more clients in 60 days. And honestly, like, even if getting more clients in 60 days weren't your goal, these are things you should do anyway, just because relationship building is life, period. It's just, anyway, so that's your free download, right? Still on your website?
That's right, yeah.
That's a really good one. And I think I've suggested that like 15 times in different, online, somewhere on my website, somewhere on Twitter. Anyway, so backstory on me and Matt. How we met is not actually even the internet typical way of meeting. We didn't just like tweet and decide to be friends. I
don't think we would ever have been friends, do you? I don't know if we would ever, if our paths would ever have crossed that way.
Right.
It took people actually forcing us into a confined physical location for 3 weeks.
That's right. We had to be friends. We had no choice. I entered a contest with Fox Rent-A-Car. They were looking for some blogger outreach, so they were sending some bloggers on a road trip because they have cars, so that's what they decided to do. And Matt was actually chosen. He was one of the golden children, but I was in a contest and won. Thank you to anyone who voted for me. That was last year, so I don't know if you guys remember that, but last June. Actually, we're going on our 1-year friend anniversary.
Like 1 year today, almost, I think. I think I flew out from Malta around the 3rd or 4th of June. Yeah,
I flew in on my birthday, which was the 7th, so that's this Thursday. Yeah, so anyway, that's where we met. We met in Los Angeles at the 4 Points, which is still my favorite airport hotel.
Great
I like to plug
yeah,
them
if you're ever stuck at LAX and you need to kill a day or two and you don't feel like schlepping around getting $80 cabs everywhere, head to the 4 Points LAX and try the beer bar there because it's unbelievable.
I love them. Oh my gosh, I called them after Blog World in November. Because I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to leave yet. I was trying to decide what I was going to do. I ended up going to San Francisco, but I had one day where I had to figure it out. And I sent them an email, and I was like, hey, remember me? I'm one of your favorite bloggers. from June, and maybe you guys have a room for me. And so they were so sweet. They gave me this discounted rate, and they always have a beer waiting for you because they have amazing craft beer.
They had a beer waiting for you. I don't think everybody got that.
You had one.
I had one as well. I know, but I wonder whether I'm not 4 Points, Sheraton, LX. It's absolutely fantastic. But I don't know if we can promise that there will be a beer waiting for you.
Yeah, it may not be typical, but they definitely liked me enough that they were leaving this wonderful beer and then like pretzel sticks or whatever it was that you're supposed to have with your beer or whatever. But it was very good. They're fantastic over there. That was one of my favorite places. It's actually that we stayed the whole road trip.
Yeah. I enjoyed San Francisco very much. What was the name of the hotel?
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the hotel there?
Hotel Diva.
Yeah, excellent, really great. But horrendous drops out of the 6th, 7th, 8th floor windows. Do you remember?
Yeah, they didn't have screens in the windows. I guess to kind of fast forward our story, we went on this road trip, and San Francisco was one of the stops, and we stayed in Hotel Diva, and as much as I loved that hotel, you're right, there were no screens in the window. It was very scary. Somebody could have easily killed themselves, and we tried to immediately.
Especially the amount of booze you were putting back, Amy.
Right. But the one thing I don't like about that hotel is that my iPad went mysteriously missing at that hotel. So I'm not their hugest fan because I think they had something to do with it. But it was a nice place to stay. I just have gone back to my no housekeeping is allowed in my room ever until I check out.
Second disclaimer, we're sure that nobody at the Hotel Diva had anything to do with
hopefully
any
not
theft or loss of any equipment or anybody in the world. I really enjoyed the place in San Diego as well. Do you remember the name of that place?
Oh.
It was in like a little pueblo. It was Old Town, wasn't it? It was the Old Town. We used to have to get the trolley into the center, and it was like this Mexican pueblo. I can't remember the name of it.
I think it was a mainstream brand. It was just kind of tailored, wasn't it?
Was it the Best Western?
Yeah, I think it was.
That was great.
I think it was the Best Western.
That was like being on holiday in the Mexican Riviera. It was wonderful. You just pop in and sink a few beers. It was great.
That was a fun town. And the brunch that we had was great, too. We walked down the street to that brunch, and it was like $4 or something to eat. It was fantastic.
Oh, Hungries. I remember
Hungries, yes. Perfect name, perfect price. That place was great. That was really fun. Yeah. I think everywhere we stayed was pretty fun. Our hotel
hang on. One of my
amazing.
we did pretty well everywhere. Because I was about to say one of my favorites, which is pretty standard for every town we went to, because every town was pretty much a favorite. Apart from Vegas, where Lauren made me walk at 3 o'clock in the morning for about 3.5 hours.
Don't get me started on Lauren and walking in Vegas.
Hi, Lauren. Lauren doesn't like to take taxis. That's Lauren Rains from themadtolive.com. She is brilliant. She hates to take taxis when you've got two perfectly good feet.
That's right. I don't think she has anything against taxis. I just think that she's quite the walking fascist. Is that what we called her? The walking fascist? Right. So she just loved that. And I was in Vegas, and this was my one opportunity to pull out my heels, because I'm not wearing heels in San Francisco. We're walking up so I'm wearing heels in Vegas. And somehow she talked me into walking a great distance. I did get her into a cab at some point, but we had to stop at the store. And then when I came out of the store, I was like, "Where's the cab, guys?" And she's like, "Oh, I sent the cab. We're just going to walk." I'm like, "It's still not that close."
Fantastic.
So anyway, but other than that, Lauren was like the best roommate I've ever had.
Oh, shoot. I think we really lucked out, because the chance of 4 people actually getting on and still speaking to each other at the end of 3 weeks, 4 people who've never met each other. Nick Laborde, just the most relaxed guy you'll ever meet in your life. Laid back to the point of falling over. I mean, really, one of my favourite people in the world.
One of the few words that he did say were caught on video, and they were great. They were epic hilarious. Every time, whenever he spoke.
He'd have us in fits. He'd say something like every hour, and every time it would be the funniest thing you've ever heard. Anyway, back to hotels. The Clarendon Hotel in Phoenix.
Was that what it was called? The Clarendon? Yeah.
The really hip place, which had the pool party on the Sunday. Yes,
we were in a nice spot there. It was like that was the cool place in Phoenix for people to go to the pool on the weekend. Regardless if they were staying there or not, they just came there. It was fantastic. Amazing group of people in our age range. It was just fun. On our computers on the pool. That was great.
You know my other favorite hotel? Napa Valley.
Because there's only like 1 or 2 more.
It's true. Everyone's pretty. Napa Valley, wasn't that? Do you remember the name of the place? Was it the?
Yes, I do. I remember Napa Valley, and I remember us kind of like catching up on blog posts in the community area where the Wi-Fi, I think, was maybe the strongest, and watching that the trial that was happening in Florida. Which one was that? Casey Anthony trial.
Yeah.
That was on in the background. That's kind of what I remember of Napa Valley. My favorite part of Napa Valley was not the hotel. It was the Napa train. It was the wine train.
The wine train was awesome. Yeah. And
but
again,
the hotel was still very nice.
But I still question our judgment. Where you take this, the wine train is like what, 3 hours? You go an hour and a half out, an hour and a half back, and they serve you this 3-course meal and a wine tasting menu. And we started the entire day off with a hot as hell Bloody Mary, which totally obliterated the taste buds. And I remember you saying, "Okay, well, it's almost midday. I'll have a Bloody Mary." And she said, "Do you want it spicy?" And you were like, "Yeah, hot as hell." And I said, "Yeah, me too." Still today, a year later, I go. So, Californian wine, delicious. Possibly all taste the same, especially after a hot as hell Bloody Mary.
Definitely, because quite frankly, that was the best Bloody Mary I've ever had. I promise you that. So, you know what? Maybe I missed out on some interesting wine tasting stuff, but I'm more likely to pick up on a Bloody Mary tasting than a wine tasting. So I agree with you. I think maybe that wasn't the smartest thing for us in our wine tasting time, but
so
it was good.
I think Fox Rent-A-Car was super smart, putting us in a car and sending us around the left-hand side of America. And maybe we could take this opportunity, Amy, to ask any other car rental company out there if they'd like to put us in a car again and send us around any part of the world. We are experienced road trip bloggers, and we're happy to do it for any brand, and we will kill it, and we will blow you up. No, that's so funny that you say that. Fox really did come up with a good idea. I think we should give Srinivas Rao a really big shout-out on that one, because he was their social consultant and said, "Hey, you guys got to do this." But no, it was a very, very good idea. And so not only did we get to, they arranged all these hotels for us and put us up, but they also had us switching in and out of their cars. So we really got to be familiar with the different vehicles that they have and stuff. And so I think they're only pretty much out west, but they're definitely a good car company, among the rest there. So ones to check out, and we appreciate them for sending us out on our little road trip where we got to meet and become friends. We never once got a convertible though.
Oh, we didn't. We did not. Why didn't we? Oh, you know why? Because we were worried about gas mileage. We had a lot of driving to do.
That's right, and I remember you had a lot of luggage. I say you had a lot of luggage as well.
I had a lot of luggage.
Space,
I've gotten better since that road trip. I realized, God, how ridiculous. I knew what I was doing to myself, but I didn't care. I wanted all this stuff. I was gone for a week in Florida, and then I went on a 2-week road trip with you. So I had a lot of stuff, and I needed a lot of stuff. But it was still not smart. Just not even because I was taking up more room in the car, just because when you're traveling a lot, carrying around 2 pieces of luggage is not convenient.
Quite right.
So I've learned. I'm getting better. I'm getting much better. So anyway, I hear you're hanging out with Michael Port these days. He's
my mentor. Great guy. If you
don't
know,
bestie?
Sorry.
He's your bestie.
He's my best buddy. He's my best buddy. It's funny. I became a client of Michael's about 3 years ago. Michael Port, if you're watching this, wondering who he is, the New York Times best-selling author of 4 books, including Book Yourself Solid, which is pretty much the seminal small business marketing piece of literature out there. There's
Absolutely.
Everything that's come since. There's a lot of great marketing literature out there, but everything that's come since it hasn't been derivative of Michael's work, but Michael just covers it all in that first one. It's incredibly practical. Something I've learned from him is try and give implementable solutions. So it's really step by step how you go out there as a very small business owner to get more clients. So back in the day when I was looking to change pretty much everything I was doing with my life, I wanted to move job, I wanted to move country, I wanted to change my working hours to the afternoon instead of the morning, all of these things. I came across Michael's coach certification program where he licenses and trains individuals to become Book Yourself Solid certified coaches. And so I got trained up with him, we stayed in touch, I helped him out with a few of his programs in the meantime, got on very well, and now, long story short, almost 3 years later now, I'm the head of his Book Yourself Solid School of Coach Training, which is fantastic. What we do is so people who want to become certified, licensed Book Yourself Solid coaches. Now, there's nothing stopping you as an individual taking one of the lessons from his book and sharing that with your book group or even with your own clients. But if you want to put yourself out in the world with, the legal right to represent yourself as a certified, it's not a franchise, it's a license, but, equivalent to a franchise, a coach who says, look, I've been trained up by the man himself. So we run a school now, and the school is called the Book Yourself Solid School of Coach Training. And we're training up smart people from all over the world to become Book Yourself Solid coaches. And the brand has such integrity and it's founded in a philosophy of love, which is very strange for a marketing or a business book. So it attracts some of the very best people. We've got people in New Zealand, in Australia, in Singapore. We've got people in the UK, there are people in Kenya, there are people in Canada, somebody from Mexico has joined recently. We've got me over here in Malta in the middle of the Mediterranean. That's really exciting. So I'm doing a lot of work with him and I'm working with him on that. And the other thing that I'm doing with him is the Alliance with Michael. And the Alliance with Michael is a massive year-long mentorship program for people who want a kind of board of advisors, but they don't have a board of advisors. So we've got people in there who are just starting their business, and we've got people who are already doing 7 figures. But we meet up together on the phone, sometimes multiple times a week. Michael leads most of the calls. I help out with some of them. We've got another guy called David Jalen, very good guy from Florida, who's the head of coach development at the school. He also helps out with the Alliance. And the most exciting thing is, apart from having this structure in place where we meet up and we advise each other on our businesses, we also meet up 4 times a year in the States. And that's twice in New Jersey. No, scratch that. We've been meeting in New Jersey just recently, but now the program has grown. We're going to be meeting twice in Philadelphia, once in Miami, most likely, and once in LA every year. So I'm hugely stoked about that because I love America, as you know. I love the United States.
I know you do. That's so cool because I might actually have a chance of seeing you.
I know.
That's great.
Are you going to Blog World next week?
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, when's your next trip here? I
bought a ticket for Blog World, and unfortunately my wife is having to travel on work next week, so I have a 2-year-old son, as you know, 2.5 now, so we can't just leave him to fend for himself.
No, I suppose you can't.
But my wife just handed in her resignation, so I think I'm going to be allowed to travel pretty much whenever I like.
Oh yeah, bring home the bacon, sir, because
no pressure. You can do what you want, but I'm not working. No. She's got the freelance self-employed bug as well now. She said it's time to be my own boss, and so she's never. She has a
built-in coach.
She has if there's any advisor relationship, if there's anybody advises anybody in our relationship, it's the other way around. But you know what? Since she went self-employed, or since she took that decision, she's never been sexier. We had lunch on Thursday. After she handed in her notice, and we sat down and we had a bottle of wine together at lunchtime. I was wiped for the rest of the day, but at the end of that meal, I thought, God, there's something really very, very deeply attractive about people stepping up and taking control of their own destiny. That's seriously attractive.
I agree with you. And that is a very interesting way of putting it, because I think that about myself, but I hope others think about
So if you take anything away from this, being self-employed makes you sexier.
Okay, somebody trademark that. You need to get that.
Next book.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's cool. So
yes, Michael Ford, excellent guy. I've worked with many people in my lives, and he's really one of the best.
I can only imagine. I read Book Yourself Solid, of course. I think I'd heard of it, but obviously when we saw each other in June, you were like, you need to read this book. And I took your word for it because you've been my business consultant ever since. So yeah, I actually reviewed that on the site as well. But it really is, it helped me a lot map a few things out in my mind of where I need to be with my business. And so I definitely recommend that as well. So when's your next trip? You're meeting with these people in the States, right?
So I was going to Blog World. I couldn't go. And the very good people at Blog World said, look, don't tell anybody, so don't tell anybody if you're listening to this. But if there are no refunds, but do get in touch come January for Vegas, and we'll try and roll it over for you.
Holy shit.
How
Can
about
you
that?
believe Blog World is going to be in Vegas during January? The fact that they're going back to Vegas is fantastic because that's where they belong. I did not like LA. It was fantastic in Vegas, and that's where it should be. But I don't know anything about this. Could it be on top of CES? Do you know how many people come to town for that conference? Because it's like CES. There's also like the porno award they're having at the same time.
Is that happening at the same time?
Madness during January.
Is it the Adult Film Entertainment Awards
yeah.
happening at the same time?
I think it used to be a part of CES from what I hear, and then they separated it. But it's at the same time. There's like 150,000 people from all over the world flying into CES, just to CES. So anyway, I think Blog World's going to be like the week before. That's crazy. That's crazy because I'm always at CES. I'm always at Blog World West, so it kind of knocks out 2 trips into one for me. But
For sure.
a long time to be in Vegas.
So you're getting a suite with a private butler, and you're gonna take half your
because staying
wardrobe this
longer means getting nicer digs because that's clearly in this entrepreneur's budget. I don't know about that. We'll see about sponsorship or something. But no, that's going to be really incredible. I really hope you do come to that because that's going to be crazy.
I'll be there. God willing.
Do it. We'll be bunk buddies. Yeah, that'll be fun. Cool. Well, yeah. What else is going on with you? I guess.
It's summer here in Malta.
Yeah, you're in Malta. Tell everyone what Malta is because I didn't know what Malta was until June of last.
If you picture the map of Europe, then you've got Italy, which famously looks like a boot kicking a ball, and the ball is Sicily. And if you go down to the bottom, the southernmost part of Sicily, and go due south, after a number of miles, you will eventually hit Malta. It's an hour and a half on a fast boat.
Right.
If I've got that right. I mean, it's quite possible I got it wrong. It's an hour and a half on a fast boat. On a very, very clear day, you can see Mount Etna from the north of Malta. Is it Mount Etna? Yeah, I think so. Or is it? Yeah, no, it is, yeah. I'm sorry. You should never have asked me about geography, Amy. Yeah, okay, so Malta.
I can't answer these questions. I'm hoping you can.
This tiny little speck in the Mediterranean. If you go due south again, you hit Libya, the coast of Libya. And if you go west-ish, or perhaps due west, I think it's Tunisia over there. So anyway, if you picture the map of Africa, we're actually further south than the northernmost tip of the whole of the continent of Africa. So it's really hot here. It's an island of 400,000 people. 400,000 people in the entire island, the entire country. So what's that, like Queens or not even? Or nothing. It's tiny. 400,000 is tiny.
Tiny. I don't know if it's Queens at all.
But we're the fourth most dense, and I say we, I'm not Maltese, my wife is Maltese, but I feel that Malta has become my surrogate mother. We're the fourth most densely populated country in the entire world. And some of those don't even, and again, this might be wrong, so disclaimer, I may well be wrong about this, but places like Monaco and Vatican City and Singapore are all more densely populated, but basically we live on top of each other. And that's good because we're all very nice people, of course. Maltese are, the language is like 90% Arabic and 10% Italian, with a bit of English thrown in. And over the last 3 billion years, Malta has been invaded and conquered by almost everybody. The Romans, the Phoenicians, even the British. The Turks were here during the whatever empire, and even the British for a very long time. Malta was a colony of the UK until quite late, or middle of last century, quite late last century. And so this hangover is you've got the wonderful Mediterranean spirit, like pasta everywhere, but they wrap it up in pie. So the national dish is pasta wrapped up in pastry. So you have pasta pie, which is pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. A lot of lard used in the cooking, but no place on earth like it. There's very few birds, tweet tweet, very few of them. Not very many trees. It's arid. It's rocky. There are like 5 sandy beaches on the whole island, but I wouldn't live anywhere else. I really, at this point in life, to have the luxury of saying I live pretty much anywhere that will have me, I'm very, very glad that Malta will have me.
I agree with you, and I've only seen, you're on Instagram, right? That's where I'm seeing your photos most of it. I mean, the pictures that you post there are stunning, you know, and it's like, oh, just having lunch, and it's like this amazing, like, what you would imagine being like paradise on an island.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's not a classical.
beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. It's not your classical tropical island. It's rocky. It's hot as hell, rather like our Bloody Marys. It's incredibly dry, but it's the people that make it. Really, I mean, the people. This is a country where, until, even in still in some parts of the country, you can leave your key in your front door, and you leave your key in your car when you park, because you can park in front of a neighbour's garage. And if anybody wants to move your car, they just jump in and move it for you. I mean, that happens more in the quieter towns than in the big cities, obviously, but they still exist. This is still a place where that can happen. Now, you know your neighbours, which is great because you live on top of them. But I lived in other cities in the past, and I'd lived in Brussels for 10 years. I didn't know my neighbours at all. I know not only the first names of all of my neighbours, but all of their cousins, all of their uncles, their aunts, their kids, their extended family, their grandmothers who fly in from Australia. Australia has an equal number, if not more, first and second generation Maltese people than Malta does itself.
Wow, that's interesting.
There we go. So how about that for a pretty poor geopolitical?
I mean, yeah, I just learned a lot about your wonderful country. I mean, that's great.
Oh, okay. Last one. 365 churches in Malta. Okay, so massively Roman Catholic, like 98% church going. Again, figures not correct. Huge proportion of church-going people. 365 churches on an island of 400,000 people.
Yeah.
And the only Christian country in the entire world that calls their God Allah.
Fine.
Yeah. So in Maltese church, you pray to Allah.
Interesting.
How about that? This is interesting.
That is really, really interesting. I didn't. I'll definitely take that away. That's very interesting. Well, okay. So my computer is being a little wonky, so I don't want us to get cut off. But I did want to mention something very, very important about you, and that you were one of the first people that I wanted to talk to about this whole shindig, Shoot the Schmitt, because I was trying to figure out what I wanted it to be, and also we're both kind of like fans of Paul Carr. We've been kind of following his journey from his books and through the TechCrunch, and now he's over with Pando Daily, and he started his own gig at Not Safe for Work Corp. And so he was.
And who, of course, helped us with tickets for Absinthe in Vegas.
Oh, yes, that's right. On our road trip, Paul was nice enough to, because if you don't know Paul's story, he wrote a book, and it was fantastic, about living in hotels. I mean, it wasn't just about that, but that was kind of like, okay, this is what this book's going to be about, but it's like his life in living in hotels, all over the world, not just the U.S., for a year to see, versus whatever his London rent was at that point. Anyway, he stayed in Vegas for a chunk of time, obviously, and so he had a lot of connections there and got us tickets to Absinthe, so that was cool. But I really love, Pando Daily, Sarah Lacey's thing. They were doing this thing where they were just Skyping with each other, Sarah and Paul, and I was like engrossed in their conversation. And they're just shooting the shit with each other. And I was just like, I love that. I want to do that because there's a lot to be learned from that. They're just talking to each other. This is essentially networking. They're getting to know what's going on with each other. They're not in the same city all the time. They're just catching up, but they're sharing that conversation with people. And it's like, okay, what's the hidden lesson here is, oh, well, just talk to people. This is relationship building, but you're also learning. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best way ever to create content. So I was like, Matt, help me shape this idea. And I was like, I really just want to call it Shoot the Shit. I just want to shoot the shit with people. And Matt says to me, yeah, Shoot the Schmitt. And I'm going to be the first to admit, holy cow, I did not come up with Shoot the Schmitt. And just goes to show when you're so like on top of something all the time, like my name, everybody calls me Schmittastic. In real life, I go to events, they call me Schmittastic. They don't call me Amy. For some reason, it did not dawn on me that shit sounds like Schmitt. And I don't, in fact, need profane words in my title because it's already in my name. So I want to thank you very much for helping me make that really terrible, obvious connection in my head.
My pleasure. I'm best at the obvious.
You are awesome at the obvious, and it saved me because now we have this really awesome show with this really awesome name, and I'm giving you full credit because of everybody that's coming up to me and saying that is the best name and best idea ever, and so I can take credit for the idea, but thank you for helping me with that.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
You rock. Matt, you're one of my favorite people ever. Thank you so much for everything that you do for me. You're always spreading the love about me, and I appreciate that. So that's what I'm doing here for you. I hope everybody will go check out MatthewKimberley.com and definitely pick up his book, which is in U.S. Amazon now. I think it was last September it came out. How to Get a Grip. I definitely recommend it. If you don't know, if you're not sure, then definitely hit up my review on SavvySexySocial.com. And if you buy it from there, it might be an affiliate link. So just saying, just letting you know. That's all for today on Shoot the Schmitt. Co-host, do you have any parting words?
Thank you for having me. It's been a huge pleasure.
Thank you very much for being here.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.